WWE's FastLane is 18 days away, and we have a lot of matches to go over, so we'll go over them as quickly as possible. First off, the United States Championship is on the line as Bobby Roode defends against Randy Orton in a match that a lot of people really wouldn't have thought would have happened. Not that it's Bobby Roode and Randy Orton, but the fact that Orton is going after the United States Championship, a championship that technically he's never held, but he did somewhat win the title back during the best of 7 series between Chris Benoit and Booker T in WWE when they redid that series in WWE. That's probably a reason why people don't remember it, but Orton was a substitute when Booker got injured during the series taking place. I think it was for the last couple of matches. And Orton ultimately won the final match for Booker. Booker became the champion because of that. And Orton briefly held the title just to give it to Booker for the celebration. And subsequent reign of Booker T's United States title reign at that time was probably maybe 5 or 6 at that point. I don't remember exactly. It was one of those. I'm not sure. But officially, Orton's never held the United States Championship. So it's an interesting match. However, it's been interesting because of a SmackDown top 10 poll that has been going around and has been made by the superstars, voted on by the superstars, picked by the superstars. And ultimately, Randy Orton was not that high on that list. Number 9, I believe, was on that list. Started a whole kind of triple feud between Jinder Mahal, Roode, and Orton. And Shane McMahon made the match, even though it should have been a triple threat match. It should have been, obviously. But, he's the commissioner, so he can do whatever the fuck he wants. I would have personally loved to see Roode and Jinder again, but, or even this in a triple threat with Orton. This would have been great. But it's a great match nonetheless, because you have what was essentially the best in TNA against the best of WWE. It's interesting, kind of a mini war, but WWE won't recognize it as that, but it's a thing, and people will probably talk about it now and use that for the match build-up. It's gonna fucking happen regardless, even if I said it or not. But at the end of the day, Roode's reign is too short as of late. It would be great for Randy Orton to hold the title and potentially, I think that would be a Grand Slam. Would it not be a Grand Slam? Besides the Universal title, obviously, because he hasn't had a chance for it, and he's on SmackDown, and it was introduced when he was away from Raw. But it probably wouldn't matter because he's held the world title, he's held the WWE title. It would be a Grand Slam technically at that point for winning the U.S. title. Because technically the titles were unified, the tag titles were unified. I don't think Orton held the SmackDown tag titles. He did the recent versions he's held, but not the older ones. But it would still count regardless. It would be a great thing for Orton again to have that Grand Slam, but I think Roode would win overall and then face Jinder down the line at WrestleMania. Even though I would think that a Roode Orton match would be better at WrestleMania instead of a Roode Jinder match, but that's how they're doing this, so I can't speculate at that point, and that's fucking how we're doing it. The SmackDown Women's Championship as Charlotte faces Ruby Riott of the Riott Squad. People unfamiliar with Ruby Riott would probably know her better as Heidi Lovelace. Pretty much, girl's been all over the indie scene. Former OVW Women's Champion, former I think a former Young Lions Cup winner in Chikara, actually, now that I think about it. But still, has been successful in NXT for a little while, and then had the Riott Squad with Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan. And it's been a very successful group, although it's had this kind of, I don't want to say an adventure type feud or something, but like to the point where it's been pretty much a gauntlet, except every week you face a different member of the Riott Squad. It's not all of them at the same time. It's just a person, and then a person, and then now it's Ruby and Charlotte. And it'll be a great match. one of two things will happen here. Well, one of three, technically. But either Charlotte will retain, either Carmella will cash in her Money in the Bank and win against Charlotte, or Ruby wins and Carmella cashes in anyway, wins that way. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to go with Charlotte just because I don't think they'll put the title on Riot. But I will not be surprised if Carmella cashes in, regardless of who wins, and regardless if the Riot Squad's out there or not. And if the Riot Squad is there, Riot would probably win with the Riot Squad, but they would be ejected somewhat from the match, and Charlotte would probably win that way. And finally, the match that does not seem to die in the tag team division, the Usos versus the New Day for the SmackDown tag team titles. They've been great matches. Don't get me wrong, they've been amazing, incredible matches. But we've seen this so much that I don't want to say it'll be the piss break match, and I'd hate to say that, but it probably will be, because we've just seen it so many times. The tag team divisions are so small in the WWE that it makes no sense for this to happen as much as it has been. Thankfully, it's been a little bit of a break from this match, so it's been good. It's okay. But at the end of the day, I feel that the Usos will retain. You were going to think I was going to say the New Day would win at the end of the day, then the New Day, but no. The Usos are going to win this, and they're just going to control the division until someone gets called up and ultimately wins the titles. Probably at WrestleMania, probably not. Who knows? But at the end of the day here, the Usos will retain. And with that, FastLane is 18 days away, about maybe 18 days away. And a lot more matches will be made, and a lot more will be made. Bigger matches, because, again, this is potentially the final SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view before the big WrestleMania and before something that happens in May. But we'll talk about that when it happens.